Right away, we are introduced to Luo Shinsher, who is 18 years old. He is a hikikomori, and this made his mother lose hope in his future, even though he is planning to take entrance exams for university. When he gets home, a major plot twist occurs. In reality, he has girlfriends and doesn't live alone, or at least that's what he thought. Despite having Rem from ReZero, the boy still feels lonely and empty. We learn that due to his strange name, he has become an otaku virgin. Poor guy. Even his name was unlucky. Answering his phone, he is notified that the mail was knocking at the door. Opening the box, he receives a new phone he ordered a few days ago, charges it, and sets it up, which would be the first thing many viewers would do, I'm sure. He falls into a deep sleep and begins to hear people calling his name. Opening his eyes, he finds himself in a dense darkness. Suddenly, an extremely bright light appears, revealing a beautiful blonde woman. Unfortunately for our otaku Shin, his alarm clock rings and wakes him up. Sounds like me dreaming about my crush. Regretting not turning off the alarm the night before, he slaps it to silence it. During the impact of the slap, a magical circle is invoked. Opening his eyes slowly, Shin finds himself facing a peculiar softness. When he looks closer, he comes face to face with a beautiful brunette with green eyes. Like a typical otaku, he is startled to see a woman. He quickly questions her how she entered his home or who she might be. The girl calls him master and asks how she ended up in this form. Taken aback by being called master, he is in a good mood, who wouldn't be? Assuming the girl is a drunk who mistook her own house, Shin tells her to find someone else to play with. As soon as he finishes speaking, the girl bursts into tears, saying that even after being used for so long, the protagonist treats her like a stranger. Believing that because Shin got a new phone, he wants to discard her already. Feeling guilty, the boy asks to be able to explain himself, shouting at the poor girl that she is not known to him and that he has never seen her before. He searches for his phone to call the police, but only finds the newly purchased one. Remembering his previous dream, he feels a palpitation. Putting the pieces together, he realizes that the girl in front of him might be his old phone. Well done, Shin, using your neurons to think. However, he accuses his servant of stealing his phone and demands that she return it immediately. The female phone asks if he wants her to answer or hang up, so he confirms that he demands that she answer and return the phone. The girl fixes her hair, takes a step forward, and jumps on him, kissing him, leaving Shin completely embarrassed and awkward, as he had never felt a kiss from the opposite sex before. He closes his eyes and pushes her away, telling her to have self-control. Shin quickly moves away, and they both feel embarrassed. Using his neurons to think, he realizes that he shouldn't be apologizing because it was she who stole his first kiss. Shin believed that if he remained a virgin until he was 25, he would be able to use magic. Anxious to become a wizard, he decides to remain pure until he's 25, but currently, he claims he doesn't feel like he's lost anything, he just feels blessed. His phone starts repeating messages from his mother. After not getting a response, she sends an audio message, yelling at Shin, curious that his phone is literally a girl who repeats messages. His mother accuses him of being up late online dating and that's why he's so sleepy. The otaku justifies that he was studying and no longer online dating, and asks his matriarch why she called. He receives a shout and ear-pulling for questioning why a mother would call her own son. Taking back what he says she can call whenever she wants. His mother asks him to inquire if the neighbor's house is up for rent. As she is his mother, he can't refuse her request. The human phone confirms that the call has ended, but is interrupted by the protagonist. Shin is certain that his old phone has actually transformed into the girl in front of him. He supposes that this happened because he dreamed of that beautiful blonde girl and wonders what ability he received. If he really got a superpower, again his few otaku neurons, he believes his power is to turn everything he touches into a hottie. Thinking of so many possibilities, he starts to feel strange sensations in his body. Deciding to test if he really is capable of turning objects into hotties, Shin, with the REM doll in his hands, seconds pass, and nothing happens. Believing he has no ability or that some requirement is necessary, he feels sad. The girl asks if everything is okay with her master, touching his shoulders. Shin asks her to confirm if she really is his phone, asking his servant to say what he had in his files. The girl is embarrassed and claims to have sensual photos of girls and codes for certain types of sites. Shocked, Shin realizes that his phone really became a girl. his phone, asks why these types of files were there and what he intended with those photos, getting nervous about the girl's sudden question, but she quickly gets delighted. Thinking that the boy intended to learn more about women's fashion, he affirms that yes, relieved to convince his phone. The two sit down to talk, but when asked what her name is, the girl says she doesn't have one, but that he should give her one. After thinking about it, and making the girl anxious to discover her name, he decides to call her Yozora because she has beautiful straight black hair. Yozora is extremely happy with the name she received and jumps to hug her master. A noise at the door makes Shin worried. The boy remembers his mother's call, and, having no explanation for the girl to be in his house, he hurries to hide Yozora in his wardrobe. The girl asks if she should be in silent mode, and Shin affirms with certainty that she should. His mother shouts for him to quickly open the door. Taking off the shoes to enter the house, she notices her son's nervousness and asks him why he's panting. Shin claims he was changing because he just woke up. Seizing the opportunity, he asks his matriarch why she came personally after a call. The woman asks why she couldn't visit her own son. The boy's mother claims to smell the perfume of a girl. A woman's sixth sense never fails. Shin tries to justify saying that he changed the scent of his fabric softener and feels relieved for hiding his phone well. When he looks to the floor, the boy realizes that Yozora's shoe was out of the wardrobe. Hidden, he tries to approach the shoe, but his mother looks to where he is. The boy sits to hide the evidence of the crime. The woman perceives that her son is more agitated than normal and has something to do with the wardrobe. Looking at the Rem doll, Shin's mother devises a plan to make him move away from there, throwing the poor doll away. The boy, seeing his doll going to the ground, quickly jumps to catch it, but he doesn't know that it was just a plan of his matriarch. Women scare me, Shin understands too late and feels a bad aura behind him. Looking back, he sees his mother with Yozora's shoes. The boy is questioned if he has a fetish, or he bought the wrong shoes. The woman approaches the closet believing that the answer she seeks is inside. Upon opening her son's wardrobe, the woman comes face to face with a hottie with beautiful black hair and green eyes. His mother makes a disgusted face and makes the air in the room somber. The woman touches his shoulders and says that he needs to act like a man, affirming visit after receiving the bonus payment from her salary. Shin justifies saying that she misunderstood and that it was a mistake. His mother affirms that he is lying. Besides that, it is impossible for her not to know that her otaku nerd son would be capable of kidnapping a cute girl. The boy repeats the fact that she does not understand the situation as a whole. The woman fills herself with motivational speech and affirms that a man must bear with his errors. Yozora appears behind the woman and comments that she was not kidnapped by the master. The protagonist's mother looks disdainfully and asks if they are playing servant and master. The woman then says that upon discovering her son's nature, she considers sending him to a psychiatric hospital. Shin trembles in fear at the thought of being in a psychiatric facility. In a desperate attempt to convince his mother, he clings to her feet and claims that the girl Yozora was his girlfriend. The mother asks if this is true. Shin affirms that it is certainly, but he didn't tell her before because he had just started the relationship. The woman asks if his girlfriend hides in dark places like the wardrobe. The boy justifies being anxious about what his mother would say. Convinced, she sighs, quickly regains composure, and asks her daughter-in-law to visit her occasionally. Already putting on her shoes, the woman tells him to do what she asked. She also affirms that after spending some time away from her son, Shin arranged a very cute girlfriend, leaving our protagonist embarrassed. His mother throws a small box at him. Looking closely, Shin realizes that it was a protector for the warrior's sword. If you think about it, how did his mother get that so quickly? Did she already leave home prepared? Enraged, Shin hurls his mother's gift onto the bed and questions what mother in the world would give that to her own son. The boy feels hungry for not eating the night before and remembers his instant noodles he made. But they were spoiled, determined to make another instant noodle. Our waifu Yozora's belly rumbles. Asked if she's hungry, the girl says yes. The protagonist doesn't know what to give a human-like cell to eat, asking her to open her mouth to confirm if she can eat human food. He feels embarrassed for thinking strange things. Bringing a pile of packages onto the table, he tells Yozora to choose one to eat. The girl chooses steamed bread. But she's kind of dumb and doesn't know how to open a package to eat. Shin teaches her how to open the packet and eat. The girl is happy to be eating something so good. Suddenly the magic circle is invoked again. Looking where Yuzora was, he doesn't find her. However, his old cell phone was there instead of Yuzora. Is the girl the cell phone or the cell phone the girl? Now calm, Shun tries to reason why his hottie turned into a cell phone again, especially since he failed to transform Rem. So he decides to write about his power. The notes say that what he transforms becomes human. They can only use this ability once a day, and there's a time limit for each transformation. Closing his notebook, he decided to sleep to make time pass faster. Even after trying several times, our main character can't close his eyes to rest. Determined to tire himself out by exercising, he comes across toilet paper. Had to be a dirty otaku. About to reach for the paper, he remembers Yuzora's face and loses total interest in what he intended to do. Lonely, the boy grabs his Hatsune Miku doll to sleep beside him. When Shun finally manages to close his eyes and sleep, a magic circle is invoked, causing him to wake up startled. Looking to the side, he comes face to face with a girl with beautiful light blue hair and a slender body. Shun realizes that the girl in front of him was kind, but extremely strong. The girl says she'll sleep first and sleeps. Analyzing his power, he realizes that all transformations occur after midnight. His goal was to turn his cell phone into Yuzora again. The fake Hatsune Miku girl calls him to sleep again and asks why he's crying. He says that half of his bed was taken and that he misses Yuzora. The girl grabs him again and says that Shun is interesting. Embarrassed, he pushes her away and doesn't intend to sleep with her. The girl asks why he doesn't want to sleep cuddled and wonders if he still likes her. The boy explains that since they are of opposite sexes, it's not right to sleep together in the same bed. The girl is an airhead and doesn't understand. Shun, with his hormones raging, tells her not to move so much to not make him dizzy. The girl, not understanding, sits on the bed and invites him to sleep. The boy gives in to the whims of his new beautiful girl and lies down. A conversation about names is emphasized. As a déjà vu for the protagonist, the girl asks him to give her a name. Shun decides to call her Beiji. The girl feels comfortable with her new name. The young man is embarrassed for sleeping so close to Beiji. The main character wonders why he has a not-so-practical ability, and that if he could fly or teleport it would be more efficient. About to fall asleep, Beiji grabs him and presses her body against Shun, causing our poor boy to not be able to sleep. The main character wakes up startled after a magic circle appears. Looking in the direction where the beautiful girl was, he had his blanket back. Depressed, he falls into his bed, disheartened by his power lasting such a short time. Shun gets up in the morning, preparing his breakfast, and during the meal, he remembers that he did not fulfill his mother's request. Listening to noise from outside and going to investigate, he discovers that there is now a new neighbor. About to enter his house, he comes across a cute white cat. I hope what I think will happen doesn't happen. Suddenly, a high school girl appears, calling out the cat's name, Cafe. Quickly apologizing for letting the cat escape and informing that she is new to the neighborhood. Shun greets the new neighbor and begins talking about his time in school. The girl interrupts him, saying she will be late for school if not quick. As he is her neighbor, she makes a request for him to take care of her cat until she returns. Seeing the girl's cute face, Shun is convinced and accepts her request. Saying goodbye, the girl thanks him and hurries to her class. The guy, upon entering the house, thinks it would be great to turn the cat into a girl. Seriously, where is this story going to take us? I'm extremely curious about it. Happy to finally have the chance to have a cat at home, the boy showers the feline with affection. Besides finding a toy to entertain the kitty, he also prepares a meal and a bowl of milk for the cat. Shun can't help but find the cat adorable. The feline feels the need to go to the bathroom, and the boy, noticing this, prepares a place for the cat to do its business. The guy is impressed by how such a cute creature can bring such a horrible smell and realizes that owning pets is harder than it seems. Until now, he had only used his powers on inanimate objects. Eager to use this on a living being like a cat, he imagines turning the cat into a maid. Looking at his phone, he remembers Yuzora and sets the right time to bring her back. Realizing it was almost midnight, the protagonist imagines the cat may have been forgotten by its owner. Touching the alarm clock, he eagerly prepares his hand to touch his phone and make Yuzora become human. However, the noise startled the cat, causing it to throw the cat-shaped toy at his fingers. A magic circle is formed, and a cat girl appears. The girl immediately thanks Shun for taking care of Cafe and her. The protagonist feels embarrassed and notices a tail on the girl's body. Realizing his gaze, The girl innocently turns so that Shin can better observe her tail. The cat girl approaches and sticks her finger in the protagonist's mouth, which he accidentally bites. Shin apologizes and puts a band-aid on the bite. The girl thanks him. Lying down sleepy, Shin can't rest. He has in a way 2 cats running around. The feline climbs and stands in front of his computer, while the human feline runs towards the cat trying to catch her. The protagonist observing this grabs both and scolds them for the mess being made in his house, whereas before he found them cute. Now they are unbearable to him. Angry that his house is out of order, he asks for an explanation from the talking cat. The girl apologizes for Cafe but not for her mess. Looking towards the cat that was previously in his hand, he realizes that in reality the feline is in front of his computer again. But not only that, Cafe was pushing the 2D Nier Automata doll towards the floor. Shin, observing this situation, begs for mercy from the feline. But you know how cats are? The cat, with no sign of remorse, paws at the doll, causing it to fly in free fall. The protagonist rushes to catch it but is brutally knocked down by the feline. However, he manages to save his beloved doll. The cat girl senses that her owner was nearby. Shin becomes worried because it's late for a little girl to be walking around alone. Determined to go to the door to meet her, the cat girl also offers to go with him. But the boy thinks it's better not to, as the girl wouldn't recognize the toy in its human form. Upon opening the door, the girl falls into his arms in an instant. Shin lifts her up and asks if she's feeling okay. The girl informs him that she's just tired. In addition to school, she also took care of a sick friend of hers, which is why she arrived so late. The protagonist says it's no reason to arrive so late. The girl gets upset and states that he acts just like her dad, being a complete bore. Shin tries to explain why he was worried, but the girl doesn't listen and just asks for her cat back. Cafe jumps towards her owner, and the girl thanks him for taking care of her cat. Shin interrupts and says that something happened to the toy that was with the cat. The girl says it was just a toy and that she can buy another. Then she rushes off saying it was late, and she needed to go to class the next day. Shin feels awkward for not being able to explain what happened to the toy. When he enters the house, he finds the cat Mimi weakened on the floor. The girl says she feels drained. The boy doesn't understand what happened and why she feels that way. Suddenly, a magic circle surrounds Mimi and turns her back into a toy, but the toy disappears immediately. Shin supposes that if the owner of the transformed object no longer has interest or utility, the magic circle would make it disappear from this world. Feeling guilty, Shin breaks down in tears. Shin wakes up the next morning, questioning whether what he experienced the night before was a dream or not. But not finding the cat and Mimi, the boy is sure it was all true. After discovering that the item can disappear, he immediately notes it down in his notebook. When he sees his phone, Shin is motivated to bring Yozora back as soon as possible and sets an alarm. While working on his computer, when the alarm goes off, eager to see Yozora, he touches his phone, and the beautiful girl with black hair appears before him. The girl rushes to hug her master, relieved not to be forgotten by Master Shin. The boy can't form a sentence and asks the girl to get off him. Yozora asks if he's feeling uncomfortable, but he just says he can't breathe. The girl approaches the protagonist after he leaves the bathroom and says that in her phone form, she can still understand everything that's happening around her. Shin, understanding what she meant, pets her head, leaving the girl excited. The boy thinks that if he's called Master outside, there might be a misunderstanding. Yozora asks what he meant by outside, and the protagonist affirms he wants a date just with her and is looking forward to it. The girl asks what a date is and if it's something to eat. Shin gives her a lesson on what a date is and how to behave on one, and Yozora is happy to go on a date with her master. The boy scolds the girl for not calling him older brother anymore, but when she calls him that, he feels satisfied. In the encounter, the two buy cotton candy. Yozora observes a crowd and asks the two to go to a stall. Arriving at the location, they see a tofu shop. The protagonist doesn't like tofu due to its strong smell that makes him want to vomit. When faced with a food stall, the girl asserts that regardless of her master's choice, she will eat whatever she wants. Shin considers her very understanding and orders 2 sandwiches from the stall owner, who quickly prepares them. Yozora tries the sandwich and finds it delicious. A woman approaches them from behind, saying they make a wonderful couple and asks if they wouldn't mind looking at her accessories. The girl, excited by the seller's proposal, delicately observes the rings, while our boy Shin, who doesn't understand women, asks the value of one in particular. The young seller says it's a bit expensive but also has a couple's promotion. The young teenage boy feels happy for them, assuming he's dating that beautiful girl. Yuzora picks a ring and places it on her left ring finger. The seller corrects her, saying it's for marriage only. Shin, upon hearing this, imagines marrying that beautiful girl and decides to take that ring. The woman runs off after completing her sale. Soon, we discover that surveillance was patrolling, causing the vendors to flee. Yuzora mentions they didn't receive change from the remaining money. The protagonist and the girl tried to catch up with the seller but have no idea where she is. Observing the area and the shops around, he comes across a couple's hotel. The innocent Yuzora asks where they are. Shortly after, Shin pulls her away and says that place isn't suitable for them to play. The girl asks if that pretty lady was the one at the protagonist's house. Looking in Yuzora's direction, Shin sees his father and mother leaving the hotel. What did I say earlier? Realizing they can't be seen in that area, especially with a girl, Shin quickly pulls Yuzora to a corner to hide. Looking around, he sees an attendant and asks if there's a couple's room available. When the extra looks at them, he can't help but find them normal. The protagonist asserts he'll take that room and shows his ID to the attendant. They receive their entry card and ID back. Shin feels grateful but also senses that the situation is strange. In the elevator, Yuzora asks what kind of place this is and why they're there. Shin explains they can't be seen by his mother to avoid disrupting her date, and they should rest. The slow girl says she understands. Opening the door with their entry card, they find a pink room with a heart-shaped bed, clearly indicating certain things. Excitedly, Yuzora invites him in and quickly jumps onto the bed, hugging the heart-shaped pillow. Shin, realizing the situation they're in, feels like vomiting. The girl notices his unease and asks if he's okay. He says he's just hot and will turn on the air conditioner. Yuzora suggests he should take a shower since he's sweating a lot, pointing to the shower. Shin feels embarrassed that the shower area is so inappropriate. Feeling chills at the thought of showering there, he says the hotel bathroom isn't good, and they should go home if they want to take a shower. The girl says he's not usually such a coward. Shin realizes the girl in front of him is his phone, and has seen all his embarrassing situations. Yuzora notices his uneasy behavior, and assures him she won't tell anyone about his situations. Shin lies down a bit to relax, and the girl says she feels a desire to be with him. The boy, not understanding, questions the meaning of her statement. Yuzora then says she likes being alone with him because she doesn't have to compete with Beiji and the others. The girl then asks for a kiss from our smelly otaku. Upon hearing the girl's desire, Shin feels embarrassed and nervous because the request was so sudden. While trying to get closer, Yuzora claims that time is up and a magic circle appears, transforming her into her object form. The young man wonders if that was a confession or not. At the reception, the protagonist pays for his stay but is asked where the girl who entered with him was, then jokes that she has already left. Departing, he declares he won't return. The next day, he continues jotting down notes about his touch ability, using examples of his attempts to transform fire, water, or plants into a hot girl, satisfied that his power doesn't work on his bandage, allowing him to hide his hands. Using the computer, he stumbles upon a blog. A comment from a saleswoman catches his attention, stating that the girl sold rings and mistakenly sold her boyfriend's ring. He remembers the young saleswoman who had approached him with Yuzora. In the comment, the young woman mentions that the boy she sold the ring to was alone. The protagonist questions if it was really the saleswoman he had encountered. Shin returns to the location from the previous day and fortunately finds the saleswoman. He approaches her, claiming to be the guy who bought her ring. The saleswoman recognizes him and asks if he can return the ring. The boy confirms he was there just for that, and the young woman returns the protagonist's money, apologizing for the inconvenience. Shin takes the opportunity to ask why she had said he was alone the day before. She explains he was the only boy without company. Nervously, he asks if she didn't see the girl with him, but the saleswoman insists there was no one with him, leaving Shin shocked that she doesn't remember Yuzora. Thus, he goes to meet the hotel receptionist where he had stayed, telling the clerk he had lost his backpack and urgently needs to see the security footage. The clerk shows him entering alone without the backpack. Shin apologizes for the trouble, saying he must have left it elsewhere. Seizing the moment, he asks if he was accompanied by a beautiful girl on the day he was there. The clerk, impatiently, states that Shin was alone. In his apartment's bathroom, The main character supposes that all memories of transformed girls are forgotten when they return to their common state. After finishing washing, he searches for his towel, but upon touching it, a magic circle appears, transforming it into a hot girl. Shin realizes too late that he wasn't using a bandage to protect his hand. The young girl realizes she can now speak. Shin, embarrassed, tells her not to look as he searches for clothes. His boxers speak, implying they've been more intimate than this. He kicks the girl out of the room, saying he doesn't need her help. Leaving the bathroom, he looks for the beautiful girl. She's on the balcony, seemingly distracted, asking about the outside world. Shin, caught off guard, doesn't understand her question. She then talks about everything regarding the vastness of the world. The girl asks if just this once she can leave to see the world outside, and Shin, easily persuaded by her, agrees. She gives him a kiss on the cheek and drags him outside, making him plead to get dressed before leaving the apartment. They walk through the square, with the boy realizing he hasn't named his underwear yet. He decides to call her Gray, who doesn't mind what she's called. Upon seeing a vending machine, she asks about its origin. Shin explains it's a beverage machine, but Gray shows no interest, saying it's just colored liquid and can't be good. He buys 2 drinks for them, and Gray, satisfied with experiencing the world firsthand, asks if they can stay there for the night and not return so soon. Shin declines, citing the upcoming cold. Gray claims to be drunk and insists they don't need to go home. Shin considers but fears being alone on the street later. He's curious how she got drunk on soda. Shin asks if she really wants to stay there overnight. Gray confirms she does, but Shin insists they'll go home soon. In the morning, the protagonist is woken up by passers-by questioning why he was sleeping there holding onto a pair of underwear. Already at home, our otaku boy begins to read a manga when he realizes that maybe his power is capable of evolving and making the hotties dress the way he desires. However, he quickly thinks that it wouldn't be very advantageous, but rather tiring. A car alarm sound goes off, and the protagonist goes to check the situation. Realizing there are 2 thieves, he decides to take a closer look. The thieves notice that the camera isn't working, and the guard is snoring. The main character comes up with a plan to act since the police wouldn't be able to arrive in time to deal with those thieves. Just as they are about to escape, one of the thieves is hit by a purple lighted cell phone. Without understanding what was happening, a hottie falls on his face. I wonder if that's luck or bad luck. His confused partner is hit with a kick from a crazily dressed person. Moments later, the protagonist reads in the local newspaper that 2 car thieves were captured that day. Watching the news, one of the thieves tells the camera that a cell phone fell from the sky and turned into a person, hence why he was knocked out. The protagonist feels satisfied to be able to use his powers in such a way. Yuzora complains of feeling hot and asks if she can take off her clothes. Shin, being a true alpha male, denies the girl's request, stating that women can't be without clothes in front of men. The girl asks if he doesn't have better clothes to wear in the heat. The boy has a brilliant idea. Shin asks Yuzora if a pool would be a good place since it was hot. The girl doesn't understand the term, pool. Would she be able to take a bath since she's a cell phone, right? Arriving at a water park, Yuzora says she always wanted to swim, as it was her dream. Shin thinks it was completely impossible before because the girl was just a phone, but he tells Yuzora that he will teach her to swim. A woman approaches them from behind, asking if they need swimwear, and the protagonist thinks Yuzora will need one. In the store, the woman shows them around. Yuzora is impressed by the clothes, finding them beautiful, like the ones on Shin's phone. The woman doesn't understand what she meant, so Shin quickly prevents Yuzora from making the situation more embarrassing and says she meant the clothes were beautiful. The woman boasts that her clothes are majestic as she designed them, and as she says these words, the protagonist scolds Yuzora for commenting on the photos stored in the phone. Seeing women's swimwear, our otaku boy feels embarrassed. The store owner convinces him to buy a suit by offering a discount and giving him 2 daring bikini options for Yuzora. The protagonist refuses the options because he believes his human-like cell phone shouldn't wear something so vulgar. The woman offers him 2 options again, but this time they are very childish or ugly one-piece swimsuits. While deciding, Shin notices a green bikini on the shelf and asks to see it closely. The woman congratulates him for having a great eye, as that suit was a limited edition for couples. Shin, hearing it was a couple's suit, feels happy and decides to take it. Putting on swimwear himself, he can't help but think that if Yuzora transforms while in the pool, they might have some problems. The woman compliments Shin, saying he looks great in that swimsuit. Yozora calls out to the protagonist after changing clothes, and upon turning around, he is immediately enchanted and compliments the girl in front of him. They decide to head to the pool to swim. Suddenly, a red-haired girl approaches and calls out to the protagonist, her first words indicating that she was distressed seeing his situation with Yozora.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and share with your friends. See you in the next video. Bye for now.